boys and girls. Today we're going to talk about the artist Wayne Thiebaud. And I absolutely love his paintings. He liked to paint mostly desserts and food, and he paints them in very clean, neat ways that almost look real, so very realistically. Now, a fun fact about Wayne is that this year he turns 100. In fact, he just had his birthday. And so he is still alive and he's still creating paintings and art. In fact, I just read that he just started a series that includes drawing circus clowns, which is kind of fun. So today we're going to focus on his artwork, and I am in the mood for donuts. So I'm showing you a couple of his paintings, and you can see the bright colors, the fresh simpleness he uses when he makes his lines, and how often he overlaps his artwork. So it makes like one cake look like it's in front of another to give the illusion of space and dimension. So today we're going to create a donut painting or drawing, depending on what you have at home. So I'm going to show you two ways that I made mine. This is one that I'm going to show you how to make that I used paint for, but notice how some of the donuts look like they're on top of each other or overlapping. So that's going to be one option. And another one is drawing. Same idea. This one isn't quite finished yet, but overlapping circles and coloring it so it looks like one is on top of another, like on a plate or a tablecloth. All right, let's get started. Boys and girls, I'm going to try out my new camera today. I'm real excited about this, so I shouldn't have to turn this around and draw backwards. So I'm going to, hopefully it'll focus here, show you first how to do this project of overlapping donuts by using just crayons and a pencil. But then I'm also going to show you a different way that you can do it with paint. So depending on what you have at home, you can decide. So I'm going to go ahead and with my pencil on my piece of paper, I am going to trace something that's round. Now the closest thing I could find, or the easiest thing for me, was this roll of masking tape. I happen to have it on my desk, and that looks like a pretty good donut shape circle to me. You can use other things like a bowl or a cup, and even just where I'm sitting too, I've got like this crayon shape that I usually have in my window, but I could trace the underneath bottom part of it. So anything you have around, or you can just try to free draw, and that would work out really well too. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start by tracing my first circle. A little bit of a mistake there, but that's okay. And then I'm going to make another one. Now I do want you to make several. So several to me is anywhere from 3 to 5, or if you have a bigger piece of paper, maybe you want to do more. So that's up to you and how you want to do that. I am not quite sure why we're blurry, so let me hold on a minute. There, that's better. Sorry about that. Okay. Like I said, this is new and I'm getting used to it. Okay, so I've got now 2 circles. But I'm going to make another circle to look like a plate of donuts, or donuts maybe I'm looking down on a platter or a plate. And I want to overlap. And overlapping is when you have one object and then you have another object on top of it. And to do that in art, you have to do a few little things with your lines to make it appear to overlap, like these 2 crayons. So I'm going to take this circle tracer, I'm going to set it between these 2, and I am going to start and stop where the other lines are. So I start and I stop and I lift it up. And notice how I stopped where this one started, I stopped there, but I'm going to give it the illusion that this donut might be right underneath these 2 donuts on a plate. I'm going to do that again for another donut and overlap. I want you to try to overlap at least once, but more is better. so part of a circle. And then I want to do another donut over here, but I'm going to have this one just offset. It's up to you, and I'm going to make this one go off the paper. Okay, so these at this point could even be cookies or donuts that are maybe filled with jelly. I'm going to real carefully make my circle inside each donut. Like I mentioned before, I could leave one or two solid if I wanted to. I'm going to go ahead and just do circles though. And since these are donuts, they do not need to be perfect because I've never seen a perfectly round donut. Sometimes they're doughy and they change. So right now, just for this project, I have 5 donut shapes, which are just a circle inside a circle. Now, I am going to color this. So I'm going to mark off some space that maybe on this one, I know I want to put frosting. So I'm going to make a line on that so I know to color them different colors. Maybe I'll leave this one alone, but I'll do more frosting on this one. So you just turned into a donut artist or a bakery artist without really even thinking about it by decorating your donuts. And you can do different designs on them. You can even add like sprinkles, or maybe on this one I'm going to add some stripes to make it look like drizzle. It's really up to you. Okay, so now I've got some different designs I think I'm going to do for my donuts. Now, if I'm using crayons to color these in, I thought it would be nice to have several shades of brown. So I dug through my crayons to think of like how dough or cake donuts might look. Or even a real light pink would look really good with this. This crayon is called Mahogany. It's got a little bit of a reddish tint to it, which, you know, you could use maybe even for like carrot cake. You could do orange. Depends on what kind of donuts you want. Or yellow, if you wanted like a yellow cake donut or a vanilla donut. It's up to you. So now that I drew these, I'm going to choose one color of brown and I'm going to lightly color it in. Now, when I color, I like to, if I didn't use a Sharpie or a marker to outline it, I like to go over my pencil line a little darker with my crayon first. So I've given myself a little bit of a boundary that I know I want to color inside. And I think it just looks nice to cover up your pencil on a drawing that you're adding color to. And then real lightly, I'm going to color in my donut. I am going a little fast so I don't take up all your time. So I'm just going to give you some quick thoughts on this. And then I can add frosting to my donut. So I might think, oh, I don't know what color to add. You know, I could do maybe a light pink or whatever you want, or you could leave it maybe white and do sprinkles. Do a light pink. And then for fun, I'm going to add some like dark sprinkles to it, like a pink sprinkled donut. And the brown I used on this donut makes it almost look like it's chocolate donut. Yum. Okay, and then for this one, maybe I'll do a different shade of donut. So it's it's brownish, but it's got a little bit of orange in it to make it look like maybe a different kind of donut. So you can just use what you have at home. I forgot about outlining my pencil marks after I just told you I like to do that, but I do like to do that. So I'm going to do that real quick. It also helps the donuts not get lost in your paper and too soft. It gives them a little bit of a barrier. So this one I'm just going to leave alone, just like a plain cake donut. And then this donut I'm going to leave white. So, but then I'm going to put frosting on it, something a little different. So maybe on this one, outline this part. Make colored frosting on that. And since I'm leaving it white, And if I would go over it with a white crayon, it really doesn't cover up all that well with the pencil. So I'm just going to really lightly use a brown or a gray or whatever you want to just outline it. So this is just a start of my donut picture. Now with all this white space in the background, I want to do something with it. So maybe I'm just gonna maybe add some polka dots to maybe look like a fun tablecloth, or some checks on it, or I could draw a plate. But I never like to ignore my background. I just think it's real important to make it look more like a finished piece. So I'm going a little fast like this. Maybe I'll add some more polka dots or whatever you think you want to add. And then at the very end, after I color these other two donuts, I'm going to very lightly color in my background to make it look official and finally done nice and neat. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Another way, real quick, I want to show you is one I've already started to save some time. And I painted my donuts on this. I don't know if I can come out at all. This one's bigger. And I painted them different shades of brown. This one's a little bit red. I had red velvet on my mind. So I went ahead and squirted some white and brown paint for chocolate and vanilla icing, and then some other bright colors for sprinkles. And quickly, I'm just going to show you some ideas of how you can do this. I like to do this because it reminds me more of frosting. On that one, I left a little white, and I can just, it's dry now, so I can paint right over it. There's part of it. Let's see what one looks like if I go over it and I didn't leave it white. Ooh, that works really well also. Since it was dry, I'm able to paint with my white paint right over it, depending on what kind of paint you have. Maybe I'll add a little bit of chocolate. Oops. And some chocolate frosting. Yum, it looks almost real. And then I'm going to take my small brush and add maybe some sprinkles. And for fun, and when that dries, I could do more sprinkles. I'm also just going to make some fun confetti designs in the background of this, even blending some of my colors. Just so I'm not splattering it or scribbling, but I don't want my background to be ignored. Now, this one seemed to go really fast because I already had part of it painted. But have fun, and I cannot wait to see what your donut overlapping painting looks like.